Hey everybody, Dave here from Seafoam Pedals. I wanted to show you how the 2-in-1 expression knob works with a Line 6 HX Stomp. So the expression knob and tap switch, this has a switch that's in the knob, and it also is an expression knob. So you can use it for a dual purpose expression, especially for units that take that, like an HX Stomp and an Eventide H9. Right now I'm going to be showing you how it works with the HX Stomp. So I've got a new preset that I've pulled in here, and I'm just going to go ahead and start setting up my typical preset. I'm going to go to the very end and put an impulse response in, and let's just use a 7B, that'll be good. Let me go back one block and put an amp head in. Let's just grab the AC30, bring the drive down a little bit, bring the bass down a little bit, bring the presence and the treble up a little bit. I like to run a light compression at the front of the chain, so I'm going to grab one of those. Let's do the studio comp. Let me gain it down a little bit. Just for a little bit of sustain. Let me go to the next block. I'm going to set up a drive pedal here. Let me just grab an 808. Bring the tone up, bring the gain down a little bit, level up. Let me go ahead and assign that to footswitch 1, and then the next block I'm going to put a delay here. So let's just do the simple delay. I want the time to be a quarter note so I can tap it in here. Cool. I want to assign that to footswitch 2, so I can turn it on and off there. Also on that delay, I want to have trails, so turn those on. And then I'm going to go to the next block. I'm going to set up a reverb here. If you notice, I'm out of foot switches on the unit because I'm using this third foot switch as the tap tempo, and if you hold it down, it turns into the tuner. But for the reverb, let me just set up like a hall reverb. For the reverb, I want to be able to turn this on and off using this button right here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up. I'm going to go into my settings here by pressing both of the page buttons. I'm going to go to bypass assign, and I'm going to assign it to foot switch 5. And now this foot switch will turn that effect on and off. And again, you can get there by pressing both of the page buttons, going to bypass assign, and bypass assigning that reverb to foot switch 5. And so now back here, you see this is turning that reverb on and off. What I also want to do, let me go ahead and put the trails on, so when I turn it off, it still rings out. What I also want to do is I want to set up this expression knob to adjust some of the parameters for the reverb. So I want to go from that reverb sound right there that's pretty low key. I want to go to a fully ambient reverb just by bringing the expression knob up. The way the Seafoam 2-in-1 is hooked up is just a single TRS cable that's going into the expression 1 and 2 jack on the HX Stomp. How I'm going to set it up as an expression is you press both of the page buttons again, and you go to controller assign, and any parameter in here you can assign to controller expression 1, and it'll control that parameter. So let's say typically I like to control the mix, so let's go to controller 1, and then you hit page over to set the minimum value. So I'm going to set the minimum value at about 20% and the max value at 100%. And then I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to set the decay to expression 1, and then I want it to go from, let's say 3 is the minimum to 10 is the max. Now I can go back and you see the decay. I'm going from 3 all the way up to 10. if we look at the mix too, we're going from 20% all the way up to 100%. So we can go from a pretty light reverb there. That's something I would use as like an on all the time type of reverb. Alright, so one issue I'm running into here is that the reverb sound, when I mix it up, when I increase the mix, the reverb sound is getting a little bit softer. So what I can do is I can go back into this controller assign, and I can go to the level and assign that to expression 1. And the level, I want to start at unity, so plus and minus 0. And then I want to increase it as I increase the mix. Let's say up to 3, maybe 4 decibels. Let's see how that works. So now that gives me a little bit more even approach across the board for the actual volume of that sound. From all the way ambient to really dry. So let me mix it up a little bit. And the beautiful thing is you can have the HX Stomp on the back of your board like I do, and then have this little controller up at the front so that you can bring in an effect. You can bring in and out an effect that you use a whole bunch, like reverb, or maybe it's delay. Maybe you want to set up this tap tempo and tuner button to this tap switch and then use this as your reverb on and off. Let me show you how to do that real quick. So I'm going to hit both of the page buttons. We're going to page over to global settings, and I'm going to scroll over to foot switches. Foot switch 3 function, I want it to be stomp 3. And then I'm going to scroll over to foot switch 5 function, which is this foot switch, and I want that to be the tap and tuner. So when I go back here, when I'm on a delay sound, let me go ahead and cut this back on. You know what? Let me go here first. I'm going to assign this reverb to foot switch 3. So now I can turn that reverb off, and I'm still controlling it with the expression knob. But now I have a tap tempo right here. So there's my tempo. Let me go to my delay. Let me increase the mix a little bit, the feedback, so we can hear what it's doing. So that's the tempo. I'm going to tap in a little bit quicker, or a little bit slower. So that is an overview of how the Seafoam 2-in-1 expression knob and tap switch works with the Line 6 HX Stomp. Let me know if you've got any questions about this. The pre-order is open for just another week at this point, so hop in there if you want to grab this pedal and use it with your Line 6 HX Stomp. See you soon.